All right, the watch list for Wednesday, May 4th. The SPY was weak this morning. SPY was weak this morning, selling off for about the first hour. Well, first 30 minutes, so then it kind of went into a chop. People asked me why I wasn't looking for a bunch of shorts. I said, well, it's been selling off, for all morning, and I didn't have any on watch. Oki made a great short call in an oil play on CLR. He's so good at those oil plays, but I was just being patient and waiting for long setups, and you can see what happens. Looks like the market's rolling over and going to oblivion. The next thing you know, through the highs of the day. So you don't want, if you miss an early short and the market sells off for the first 30 minutes or hour, whatever, it's not time to start getting short. So let's go to the daily here. So this buy basically closed pretty close to where it opened. The 206 is kind of becoming an important area, as is 205. So we'll keep an eye on those areas. It closed above 206 both of these days, and you got a couple tails there. So we'll see, right? But here is the watch list I have for tomorrow. Triple D, DDD, down 4 days in a row. It has some support at 15 bucks. Also, 15 was resistance back here. So I kind of like to see this flush below 15, and then I'll look for a reversal. If I bring a smaller chart, the orange line on the smaller chart is the 50-day. I don't have the 50-day on that bigger chart, which looks to be around 1480. So I'd kind of like to see that actually flush down to that 1480 area, the 50-day, and look for an intraday reversal for a bounce. STX just goes back on bounce watch for tomorrow. No trades for me in it today. LGCY, low-priced, lower float oil play, had a really big move. Now it's 4 days lower. You can see oil here, 3 days lower, near the 20-day. LGCY had such a nice move here that it's going to be kind of my go-to if oil bounces. We may get a flush below 2 tomorrow, and then I'll look for a reversal. Again, only if oil bounces, but that's kind of a nice setup there for a potential bounce. Can't type today. DRYS goes back on bounce watch. Had a really nice 2-day run there, now 3 days lower. That actually got on the watch list because of PRGN. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I'll just go over it real quick here now. It's on my watch list. PRGN gap down, ended up taking out its own highs today and closing fairly strong. So I want to watch that one to continue because it made this crazy squeeze and then a gap up. That one might squeeze again tomorrow, so I kind of want to keep an eye on that one, PRGN. And that's what put dry ships on the list. All those shippers started popping. And this is 3 days lower, so if PRGN rips, we'll go also look at DRYS. ORIG is another oil play that kind of found equilibrium today, closing almost where it opened. Again, if oil pops, this is another one like LGCY that is good, worth watching for a bounce. First Solar goes on bounce watch again. I did make one call in it today, or I gave one idea below 53, and it had a nice bounce from there, because one of the things I look for on a bounce play is if it sells off at the open. People shorting down here are shorting after a big intraday sell-off and the 4th day in a row down. So I mentioned this might be worth a long as it comes back. It was under 53 when I mentioned it, and it ended up bouncing all the way to 53.60 before closing kind of weak, which does what? It just lands it on my bounce play watch list again for tomorrow. I did draw a line here, the low back here, and this is all the way back in November, but it's a clear low, 52.16. It also came down to that area, 52.51, in December, and 4 days in a row down to this line. Also was kind of resistance back here, became support. So I like this anywhere down here close to 52 for a potential reversal. Okay, I don't ever just blindly take it, but if it gives me an intraday setup, certainly make a call on that one tomorrow. UNXL goes back on watch. It's just staying in a range here. In a weak market this morning, it held up okay, so no trades in it today. Yelp gapped up, and I was looking for it for a possible high of day break, and it never happened, so I didn't take any trades in Yelp. But a lot of times you get the gap up and it just can't get going. Here's the intraday. And it stayed in its opening 15-minute range all day, closing somewhere around the middle of the range. Sometimes you get that, and then the very next day it rips, so I'm going to put Yelp on watch. SWHC gapped up, as we knew it would, because we saw it in after hours yesterday along with Ruger. And it had a pretty decent close. It never did break its early high. See, it opened and put in its high right on the opening tick, but you know what? It made a decent afternoon run. So up over 23, up in the mid to high 2330s tomorrow. That might be enough to push it through the highs and maybe break this one out. All right, so it's got good support below. So I want to watch that one. And then lastly, I already showed you PRGN. And then real quick, I'll go over an Apple play because people ask a lot of times. I get emails, hey, you had Apple on watch. I saw it on your results page. Can you explain how you traded it? So I try to do that in these videos. I'll just show you Apple, AAPL. Okay, this one looked like, let's see, it opened here, went down, took out the early highs, then came back down. And let's see, I'm trying to picture how it looked. Okay, it looked like this when Jane posted. Jane is one of our members that should be a moderator, and the only reason she's not, she lives in England. That's not the reason she's not a moderator. The only reason she's not a moderator is because she's shy and doesn't want the extra pressure, and that can't happen. We see good traders in the room, and we ask them if they want to be moderators, and there are always people that care about other people, and Jane certainly falls into that category. But what can happen is if you get made a moderator, it puts a little extra pressure on you, and then you start worrying that you're going to make a bad call and people are going to lose money. And the last thing I want to do is have Jane stop making calls. So she respectfully declined moderator status, which is great because I don't want her to feel pressure and then have it change the way she's trading and end up costing her money as well. So, but anyway, most of us have Jane on what we call our hot script, which is a feature of the chat room where you can put anyone you want on your hot script list and set it up to give you an audible alert. So most of our members have Jane on there. So if she posts something, they'll get an audible alert on their computer and they'll know to check and see what Jane just posted or any of the other people on their hot script. Okay, so that's a really cool feature of the chat room. Makes it extremely customizable, and you can make the room pretty much your own scanner by following the traders that you want to trade, that you want to follow, right? The traders that trade your style. Anyway, having said all that, so Apple looked like this when Jane posted. So we had the open, the gap up here, a decent run, then a lower high, and then it started kind of getting tight, and then it was kind of flagging here. Jane posted it as a potential flag. It was actually starting to move back up when she posted it. Okay, so these are 5-minute candles, and you can see. So by the time Jane posted the flag, that made me look at Apple, so I brought it up on a chart, and I told everybody I like it right here. Now normally I don't do that. I try to give a trigger and stop ahead of time. But everyone had time because of Jane to possibly grab this. So I said 9:45. I like it right here before it breaks the high of the day. I'm thinking this is going to get through the highs and get some momentum. Okay, my stop goes below this candle. So it was for a $94 stock, the entry was $94.45. The stop was $94.21. It doesn't get much better than that for a stock like Apple, and you can see what happened. Never stopped out and went all the way to $95.74. So. Then that was just another example of teamwork. I could probably show you 6 examples of people posting stuff today, and then all of us working together to decipher a decent entry and stop. But I don't want to go into all that. This is supposed to be a watch list video, so there you go. The watch list for today is in this video, and we will also watch for gappers in the morning, build a list of gappers as well, and hopefully find some trades out of those. All right. We also play reversals and other things that light up our scanners throughout the day. So enough babbling from me. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.